what is HTTP resources. The very important concept of REST API is REST resource. So every content in REST architecture is considered as a resource. So in our scenario, one comma code as an entity is nothing but a resource. So client expects a resource from a server. Server goes to the database, fetches your resource and give it to your client. So what moves here and there is nothing but a resource. So every content which client expects from a server and server responds with to the client is nothing but a resource. So in our case, resource is analogous to an object in object-oriented programming world, which is nothing but an entity. Now, it can be represented as text file, HTML pages, images, or any dynamic data. So I'll give you one example. So this is one of the examples. When I hit a particular URL, this is nothing but an HTTP, a particular URL. When hitting this particular thing, I get a page, I get a image. This image is nothing but a resource. So it can be a text file, an HTML page, an image, anything. When you hit over the HTTP or the network, you get a response. So this is client-server architecture. This browser that you see upon is client. Wikipedia is your server. This is the en.wikipedia.org is your server. It is giving you a response in terms of an image. So this image is nothing but a resource. The REST server provides access to these resources, whereas REST client consumes or accesses these resources. I've already told you what does this mean. Every resource is identified by the means of URI. What is URI? URI is Uniform Resource Identifier, which is used to identify each resource of the REST architecture. So if I say this image is a resource, how do you access this resource from client? Through this URI. Until unless you don't have the proper URI, you won't be able to hit the server and server will not understand what do you actually want. So this is a very important part of the REST API or the REST architecture. So first important thing that we learned is resource. This image is a resource. Second, how to access the resource through a URL. So this URI is nothing but a very important part of your architecture. So what is it in the format? The format of URI is always protocol. So what is my protocol? HTTPS is my protocol. / service name. So what is my service name? en.wikipedia.org. Now, there comes the resource type. The resource type is wiki. Then what is my resource ID? This is the unique identifier of all the resources present on a particular resource type on a server. So this is my unique resource ID, representational state transfer, and hitting this particular thing, you will get something as a resource. It can be anything. It can be an image like I've shown you. It can be a document. It can be anything.